Hey, welcome to Module 4. So far, Karan's API is well structured. Clean routers, typed settings, shared resources at startup. But there's one big problem. Anyone who knows the URL can hit his endpoints. Every unauthenticated call to his RAG API triggers an LLM call, which costs money. In this module, we fix that. We start with the simplest and most practical auth pattern for AI backends, API key authentication. Let's get into it. Think about what an OpenAI API means in practice. Every call to post/ask triggers an embedding call and an LLM call. Those aren't free. If Karan deploys this without auth and someone discovers the URL, they can run thousands of queries against his OpenAI account and he pays the bill. That's before we even talk about data security. Anyone can read session history, ingest garbage into his vector store, or delete documents. This isn't hypothetical. Exposed AI AP gets scraped and abused constantly. The simplest fix is API key authentication, a secret key that every caller must include with their request. API key authentication is the simplest auth pattern there is. The caller includes a secret key in a request header alongside every request. The server checks that key before doing anything else. If it's missing or wrong, the server returns a 401 and the request goes no further. If it's correct, the request proceeds normally. Look at the example headers. The key travels in x-API-key, a custom header. The server never stores sessions, never issues tokens, never manages login flows. It just checks one header value. This makes it stateless, lightweight, and perfect for server-to-server communication and internal AI tools where you control who has the key. You've actually seen this dependency before. We built it in Module 3. Let's look at it properly now. Verify underscore API underscore key takes the x-API key header as optional open bracket, str close bracket. So a missing header doesn't trigger a 422 before we can return a proper 401. Then two checks. First, is the key missing entirely? If so, return a 401 with a message that tells the caller exactly what to do. Second, is the key present but wrong? Another 401 different message. Why separate messages? Because when a caller gets a 401, they need to know whether they forgot to send the header at all or sent the wrong value. Specific error messages save debugging time. The key is compared against settings.api underscore key. No hard-coded strings anywhere. FastAPI gives you three places to apply the verify underscore API underscore key dependency. First, individual endpoints. Add it as a parameter to one specific function. Good when only some endpoints need protection. Second, the entire router. Pass it in the dependencies list when creating the router. Every route in that router is now protected without touching individual functions. Third, the entire application. Pass it when creating the FastAPI app. Every endpoint in every router is now protected. For Karan's RAG API, router level protection is usually the right call. His documents, ask, and sessions routers all need auth. His health check endpoint probably doesn't. Router level gives him that granularity cleanly. API key auth is powerful for its simplicity, but it has real limits. It fits well when you're building internal tools, server-to-server integrations, or early-stage AI products where you control who has the key. It's a yes/no gate. This caller is allowed or they're not. Where it breaks down is when you need user-level identity. If Karan's RAG API needs to know which specific user is asking, show them only their own sessions or give different users different permissions. A single API key shared across callers can't do that. For those scenarios, you need OAuth 2 and JWT, which is exactly what we cover in the next video. For many AI backends though, especially internal ones, API key auth is exactly enough. Quick recap. API key authentication is one header and one check. Build it as a fast API dependency so it's reusable across every router and endpoint that needs it. Apply it at the right level. Individual endpoint for selective protection, router level for feature group protection, app level for full lockdown. And remember its limits. It protects your API from unauthorized callers but doesn't give you user-level identity or permissions. In the next video, we cover OAuth 2 and JWT, when you need to know not just that a caller is allowed, but exactly who they are and what they can do. See you there.